Before you spend any of your money, any of your time on one of these showcases, give me 5 minutes or less and I'll give you all the games so you don't walk in there blind. First off, what is a showcase? I heard that depending on where you live, you might look at it a little bit differently. Coming from somebody that lives on the East Coast of the United States, a showcase for me is basically when somebody throws an event and they get a whole bunch of different artists to come and perform. Usually it's set up like a competition, so there's usually like a first place, second place, third place prize type of deal. Sometimes the prizes could be money, some of them might be giving away some free studio time, or they might even say that they'll sign you or something like that. Basically, the way that they get their tickets sold and they get money for their event is they get the artists to either pay to perform in these showcases or they get the artists to sell the tickets. Kind of just wrap your head around this. Let's say you have an event with 50 different artists, right? And out of these 50 artists, let's say that they each had to bring 5 different people. So I want you to picture in your mind what this crowd would even look like, right? You'd have a whole bunch of artists, the people that they roll with, and I guess the people that work behind the bar or work at the venue, whatever the case may be. If they're not having you sell the tickets, then they're probably having you pay to perform. It might be like $50 for one song. It could be $200. I've seen literally all the way up to a couple bands to perform at one of these showcases. Now, because it's set up like a competition, what you end up finding is the vibe in these places, it seems like where the artists really take the competition part to heart. Like it's me versus you, and if you win, that means I can't win. When in reality, having that type of scarce mindset, that's never going to help you in an actual career. Again, these are just people that are throwing these events and they make a lot of money off of artists that are just trying to get their music heard. I will say, however, that the most amount of people I've ever performed for was because of a showcase. Again, it was that same type of vibe, but it was a good like 250 or 300 people. It was nothing crazy, obviously, but for me, that was, and still to this day, is the most amount of people I've ever performed in front of. Usually it's like 50, 75 type of thing, right? And basically how I look at it at this point, if you want to go do a showcase, that is perfect practice, because if you end up having one of these big showcases and you got 250, 300 artists that are staring at you, all of them are in that competitive mindset. Well, let's not say all of them, let's say a lot of them have that competitive mindset written all over their face, so they sitting here not even really swaying too much to you. They might be doing a little bit of this, but nobody's fanning out over here. These people aren't your fans. They're your competition, right? It's a showcase. So if you can go do that, that's perfect practice, but that's the proper expectation that you should have with these places. Don't go in here with all of the hopes that you're going to place first, second, or third. And I've placed at some of these showcases. I've never gotten first, but because of these showcases, I've gotten spun on the radio. What ended up happening, it was kind of like the local radio, and it's the radio. What really happened for me for that? When I took a video, it was awesome. It felt good in the moment, but it kind of just tricked my brain into thinking that I was doing something, because now I know that a successful radio campaign takes a lot more than a spin on the radio for a night. But you placed, good job. I appreciate the bread. Next time we're having a showcase, I'm gonna make sure I let you know. And it just keeps on going and going and going, where people are spending their last dollar. They're putting all this time and energy into these showcases instead of spending that time to build their own fan base, where you could then host your own shows and all of those people will be there for you, not just trying to be your competitor. Once you get enough practice, hopefully you got at least 1 or 2 songs that are ready for release. And before you go record that free beat that you just got, watch this next video where I'll show you some of the sketchiness that I found in these free beat agreements.